Hello. Hello. Can you believe that it's December 27th of 2023? Yeah. So, first off, full disclosure, I am coming off of a head thing and would probably be feeling way better had I not had the caffeinated tea that my husband made me at 7 o'clock last night. I didn't realize it had caffeine in it, and I laid awake for a while. So we're dealing with that today. But it is the end of the year, and it's that weird time of the year between Christmas and New Year's where a lot of people take time off and they don't ever really know what day it is or what time. And it just gets kind of sucked away from us, right? So I wanted to just hop in here and say, first off, thank you to all of you who have showed up and supported me throughout this year. And I'm freaking pumped for 2024. And so as we move into this new year, if you're not aware or you haven't signed up already, the Redefine program, it does start today. The pre-work is available, and we're actually going to dive into that program next week, right after the first of the year, because it is so important to set the tone for your year right out of the gate. And I love this program. It has so much depth to it that I imagine you'll want to watch it over and over and over again to just get all of the juiciness out of it and really get on track with what you want 2024 to be. So if you haven't signed up already, reach out to me, send me a message, comment below, and I'll be happy to get you that information. And then in terms of reflections for 2023, I'm going to just be totally honest with you. I was not terribly intentional this year, and it showed. And it showed because as I sit here reflecting, there were some great things that happened in 2023, and every year, I make a calendar for my husband that has pictures from each month of the year of the things that we did, pictures of the kids, whatever it was. And I always love taking that time and going back and looking at the things that we actually experienced that year, because sometimes when we get to this point of the year, it can be hard to remember what we actually did, right? You're like, where the hell did it go? And as much as many people will try to throw this year away to start new, it's actually way more beneficial if you build on it, because there were things that did work in this year. There were things that didn't work, and there are things that can definitely go better, right? And so I really challenge you to take some time over the next couple of days and just think about what worked, what didn't work, and what can you do differently. And maybe your what worked is a really short list and the what didn't work is pretty long. But it gives you a chance to actually anchor in the things that did work. And so one thing that actually did work in 2023 was I got really intentional about my nutrition. And even though I am sitting here with a head cold, I definitely fought it off much faster than I probably would have if I had not taken my nutrition into account. And so my nutrition was a key component of the year, and that was something I was really intentional about. And so that worked, and that's absolutely going to carry into 2024. Things that didn't work, there were a lot of days that I felt like I was in survival mode and not fully present with my kids because I felt like I was just so busy going from one thing to the next. And a lot of that was accounted for, one, my work schedule, but two, just the amount of things that we had put on our plates in terms of the kids' sports things and volunteer and this and that. And so what I'm really excited about is to take those things, look at them closely this year or this week and decide, okay, what things are we actually carrying into the new year? And there are going to be some things that stay, for sure. We love when our kids play sports, and so basketball season is in full swing, and that is exciting. And I know that with that comes a little bit of stressful schedule. But another thing that I reflected on was getting my kids to cook more meals. That was so much fun this year, and I really enjoyed that's going to continue into the new year. In fact, they don't know it yet, but they're making dinner tonight. And so they're going to have to orchestrate that. But it's a great experience. My older two kids are 16 and 14, and that's really fun for them to get involved with. So when it comes to things that worked, right, there are things that worked this year. But oftentimes we think of this, throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? That old saying. And the truth is, yeah, there are probably some things that didn't work, but there are things that you can continue to take and to build on top of. Because each new year is not, while it is a fresh start, right? Hello, beautiful. While it is a fresh start, right? You don't have to clear out everything and forget all the stuff that happened before you, because you're actually building up yourself each day, each month, each year. And I look at this from, oftentimes we think of like a sales situation, right? If you've ever done multi-level marketing or ever done any kind of sales, it's like the new month your slate is wiped clean and you've got to start all over again to get a certain amount of leads, commission, whatever it is. And the same thing with a new year, right? And that can be exhausting because you feel like it's never enough, right? And so if you're looking at things from this standpoint, what I do recommend that you do is really take it into consideration that you have accomplished things, right? There are things that did work, and maybe you do want to change some things, right? But there are things that worked. Absolutely 100%. We've just got to look at the things that worked and bring them into the new year, right? So as I said, one of the things that did absolutely work for me was dialing in my nutrition. I felt so much better. I was sleeping better. I was less fatigued. I had more energy. I had more mental clarity. There was a lot that was stuck in there. I did a couple of detoxes throughout the year. And so I really dialed in my nutrition, and that was really super helpful. And so going into the new year, I'll actually be doing another detox right out of the gate in the new year. And I'm really excited for that. It's going to be great. It's going to be really good for me. And I know that that's just going to continue to help set the tone for 2024. So in terms of things that didn't work, right? Once you know what did work, you can look at the things that didn't work. What kinds of things didn't work, right? And so for me, I knew that I wasn't super intentional with certain things, right? Date nights with my husband, we got better at them halfway through the year, but the first part of the year, we really weren't great and on top of it. And so I know that we're going to have to be really intentional about that right here, right out of the gate. And so that's got to be a priority, right? And, you know, there were some things that we wanted to do as a family that didn't happen, that we had made a list for at the beginning of the new year. And so I really just want to be even more intentional. So what didn't work was my lack of intentionality, not in all areas, but in some areas. But I saw the power of the intentionality in the areas that I did practice it. So it's going to be brought into more areas in the new year. And if you've spent any time with me, you know that I am not a cold turkey, give me a million things to start on January 1st kind of a thing. Which is why, again, my program Redefine, if you're not familiar with it, this is really, really, really helpful. If you're wanting to break out of the New Year's resolution chaos, right? Where you pick out 14 different things and none of them go well, by January 15th, you've quit all of them, right? That's not beneficial to really like most people. There are some people that can sustain that, but it's very, 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 very few. And so my goal is for you to help you make success inevitable, which is the purpose of that program. So again, if you do have questions, comment below. If you want to join, still time to join. And so when it comes to building on the new year, right? What didn't work? Okay. What didn't work was my lack of intentionality in certain areas. Okay. So how can I do things differently? Well, I'm going to start with particular areas in which I create more intentionality so that it becomes the new norm. And I'm going to do that slowly, one day at a time, 1 month at a time, 1 week at a time, whatever it is, right? Until it builds on itself, and then I can practice intentionality everywhere all the time, right? And amongst the the lack of sleep, the caffeine high, we'll call it, last night, there were a lot of great information that was coming through because I was laying there, couldn't sleep, and my mind was spinning. And so I am excited for those ideas that did show up in the restlessness of last night. But I really just want to challenge you to celebrate. Really, that's what I want you to do. I want you to celebrate 2023 and all its magic. Because even though it may not feel like there's a bunch of gold that came from this year, maybe you're feeling kind of defeated that this year didn't go as planned, right? There are still these beautiful gold nuggets that you can build on throughout the year. And so take some time, celebrate what did work, right? I don't care if it was like you ran a 5K and that was all you did this year, right? Or you decided that you were going to save for Christmas instead of putting it all on credit cards, right? Like, there is something that worked well this year, and I want you to celebrate it. And then you can spend some time looking at what didn't work well and what can you do differently. But I really want you to celebrate the things that did work well, because that is a way to anchor in all of the things that you're going to bring into the new year. Because quite frankly, if you're not having fun with it, why the heck are you doing it, right? So I'm going to keep this short and sweet today. My kiddos keep opening that door, and I'm not entirely sure why. I don't know what they need from me right now. But I am sending you lots of love, and I hope that you have an incredible rest of your year. And I am excited for all of the possibilities and all of the opportunities that are available to all of us, starting even this very minute, but certainly in the new year, starting fresh and clean. Bring in the things that worked, celebrate yourself, and then start to work on the things that didn't work. Create intentionality around it, and it will be a beautiful thing. So, sending you so much love. I hope you have a great rest of your day. If you do have any questions for me, please drop them below. I'll be happy to help. And as always, be big, be bold, and be opulent. Bye, loves.